Hey guys, it's Shar, and today is Saturday, October 7th, 2017, and it is a cold, rainy, dull grey day here in Nottingham in the UK. And this is a video I've been wanting to do for a week now, but I have been ill again. So I've had cold, fever, cough, sore throat, swollen tonsils, the whole lot. And it's almost all gone now. I still have a sore throat and I still have a cough. So I do apologize if you hear me cough or clear my throat while on this video. I would like to apologize for that in advance, and I'm hoping and praying that God will keep everything clear in my throat and in my voice so that I can do this video. So I wanted to talk about Luke 21 and this event that we're waiting for, the rapture. We're waiting for it, and it's kind of difficult sometimes to wait because you can see all these things happening in the world and you can know that it's near, and it is going to be quite literally any day. And I wake up each morning thinking, oh, we're still here. And then the next thought is, but it could be today. So it could be today. So I wanted to say a few things about this, that we're waiting, first of all, and also about the signs and about the scoffing and, just various things that are all actually covered in this passage in the Bible. So it's Luke chapter 21, and I'm going to start down here and then move up. Okay, so we're going to start in verse 29. It says, then he gave them this illustration. So the he here is Jesus, and those words in red are Jesus's words. These are the words that he said. Okay, so he says, notice the fig tree or any other tree. When leaves come out, you know without being told that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things taking place, you can know the kingdom of God is near. I tell you the truth, this generation will not pass from the scene until all these things have taken place. So, this generation, what generation he's talking about? He's talking about the generation that sees all these things taking place. This generation will not pass away or pass from the scene until all of the things have taken place. Okay, so we are in the generation that's seeing all these things taking place. So we are the generation that will not pass out of the scene or out of the way until all these things have taken place. So, all what things? Well, he talks about it extensively higher up. Sorry. In Luke 21, there you can see Jesus speaks about the future. But before we go to that, I just want to say a little word about what's just above it, the widow's offering. While Jesus was in the temple, he watched the rich people dropping their gifts in the collection box. Then a poor widow came by and dropped in 2 small coins. I tell you the truth, Jesus said, this poor widow has given more than all the rest of them, for they have given a tiny part of their surplus, but she, poor as she is, has given everything else. Everything she has. And I want to talk about the widow's offering just from the point of view of those of us who are here, and this is a time when it's a great time to be evangelizing for the Lord. And there are people who are out there doing that. There are people who are going to different parts of the world, and they're doing big and great things, and they're preaching the word, and they're reaching people, and there's a lot of evangelizing going on. And then sometimes I kind of feel, this is for me personally, and I think this could be for somebody else who's listening to this, who, I can't do that. I'm not well, first of all, so even going every afternoon to pick my daughter up from school is it's a difficult thing for me to do. It's hard, just doing just that normal daily thing. And so sometimes it's like, for the entire day I have to stay in and rest so that I will be strong enough to go and get her. So I can't do much. I can't go out there and evangelize, and sometimes I feel like I can't do anything. All I can do is use my voice when I have it, and use YouTube, and this is what I can give. And there are people out there who maybe can't even do that, but they can share the videos that they see. And all of this is giving into the kingdom, and none of it is small. It's all great. It's all fantastic work for God's kingdom. So please feel encouraged that you have this desire to serve God, and that you are doing it in the way that you are capable of doing it. God sees it all as great. You're giving everything you have. Okay? So great blessing. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. Now let's talk about when we see these things. So what are the things? Some of his disciples began talking about the majestic stonework of the temple and the memorial decorations on the walls. But Jesus said, "The time is coming when all these things will be completely demolished. Not one stone will be left on top of one another." "Teacher," they asked, "when will all this happen? What sign will show us that these things are about to take place?" Now at the time they would not have had any idea that this great and majestic temple, of it not being there, of it being completely demolished and left in rubble. And so they couldn't envision that happening. We, of course, now, we in our generation, we don't know of the temple being a temple. All we know of it is when it was, rubble and stones one on top of the other. If you go to Jerusalem now on the temple site, you can see that. You can see where the temple stood, and you can see the stones and the rubble. Okay? So then he replied, "Don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and saying the time has come, but don't believe them." And now he starts to talk about these things that we will see, which will let us know that we are in the generation. Okay? "When you hear of wars and insurrections, don't panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately." Then he added, "Nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." So he's talking about world wars here. Okay, so all those things have passed in the past, and then there's still going on. We can hear about the wars, and we know that there are different nations, and right now there's a bit of a cat and mouse game going on with North Korea, and backed by Iran and the United States, and all of this is the rumors of wars, and you're hearing, and there's an anticipation that war is coming. Then he says there will be great earthquakes, and there will be famines and plagues in many lands. That's happening. And the earthquakes are picking up in frequency. And there will be terrifying things and great miraculous signs from heaven. But before all of this occurs, there will be a time of great persecution. You will be dragged into synagogues and prisons, and you will stand trial before kings and governors because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell them about me, so don't worry in advance about how to answer the charges against you. For I will give you the right words and such wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to reply or refute you. Even those closest to you, your brothers, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you. They will even kill some of you. And everyone will hate you because you are my followers. But not a hair of your head will perish. By standing firm, you will win your souls. Now this is happening in this day in different parts of the world where Christians are being killed for their faith. Those of us who are blessed and fortunate enough not to live in those parts of the world, we have our own brand of persecution that happens. I mean, people look at us and think we're crazy, we're nuts. And the latest thing is we're intolerant and bigoted. Okay? So Christianity is coming under attack, and that is coming more and more. I mean, I feel quite oppressed in a way that I can't express certain things and certain things about Jesus without people scoffing and people laughing at you and people saying you're an idiot. And it's even worse, people do, they hate you. They absolutely hate you. But here is the thing. And he says, and everyone will hate you because you are my followers. They don't hate you because of you. They hate you because they hate Jesus. Because they hate God. So when they drag people out and behead them or shoot them or stone them or or we get the mockers and scoffers on here who say, some of them say some really, really vile things, and quite a lot of these channels on YouTube, we have to actually go through the comments and delete, because some of it, the vitriol, it's absolutely horrendous. And a lot of it is by people claiming to be Christians. I don't know that they necessarily are. I think they like to say that they are so that we feel like we're being attacked by fellow Christians. I know there are Christians who don't believe in the rapture, and so some of them do scoff at us. But to be honest, even if you don't believe in this issue, which is a non-doctrinal issue, you can discuss that in a loving way if you really are a Christian. Without attacking people and calling people names and saying, oh, you're going to hell, and it's just, I know a lot of the watchmen who are here on YouTube have been suffering from this, and so I just want to say and to remind all of us that they hate us because they hate him. Okay? So maybe don't take it so personally. Then it says, and when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you will know that the time of its destruction has arrived. Then those in Judea must flee to the hills, those in Jerusalem must get out, and those in the country should not return to the city. For those will be days of God's vengeance, and the prophetic words of the scriptures will be fulfilled. How terrible it will be for pregnant women and nursing mothers in those days! For there will be disaster in the land and great anger against this people. They will be killed by the sword or sent away as captives to all nations of the world, and Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the period of the Gentiles comes to an end. So we know we are living in this now because Jerusalem is a point of contention between the Arab world and the Israelis, and we know that we as Christians know that that land was given to the Jewish people. It is actually God's land, and Jerusalem is named after the very name of God. So it's God's city. So here we have people trampling down on it, and they're fighting over it and trying to take it away from Israel and divide it up. And it's God's land that they're doing that to. It's God's city that they're doing that to. So there will be a reckoning for that. But it will be allowed to happen until the period of the Gentiles comes to an end. So what is the period of the Gentiles? The period of the Gentiles is that period where the Gentiles are grafted in to the vine. So it is Jesus reaching out to the Gentiles and bringing them into fellowship with him. That's the period of grace. That's the period we're in now. That period will come to an end. And once that grace period comes to an end, then the vengeance of God talks about here. For those days will be of God's vengeance. Okay? That's when that will start to happen. There will be strange signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and here on earth the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring seas and strange tides. People will be terrified at what they see coming upon the earth, for the powers in heaven will be shaken. Then everyone will see the Son of Man coming on a cloud, with power and great glory. So when these things begin to happen, stand and look up, for your salvation is near. So we're to see these things happening, we're to take note of the fact that they're happening, and it should dawn on us, hang on, these things are happening. Jesus said that they would happen. They're happening with increasing frequency and intensity. So then the time must be near. So it's time to look. It's time to watch. Okay? And that's what we're doing. We're watching, and people are mocking us and you know, being really awful to us because of it. But that's okay. God sees all. God sees all, and there is a day coming when he will take action. Okay? And then it goes on to the illustration, notice the fig tree, etc., etc. And then he goes on to say, watch out. Don't let your hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. Don't let that day catch you unaware like a trap, for that day will come upon everyone living on the earth. Keep alert at all times. So, yes, we live in this world, but we recognize the times that we are in, and so we need to sort of keep ourselves alert, keep ourselves focused on God, keep ourselves looking. So while we're living in the world, we're also focusing and looking, and we're helping each other do that. Either face to face for those of us who are fortunate to have Christian brothers and sisters around us who are also looking, or on YouTube, and some of us have, we chat on YouTube or on Facebook. I speak quite often with Janice Wodka and Kim Mosley, just encouraging each other all the time, and looking at these amazing videos. I mean, Terry over at Walking by the Spirit Always, she's just always so joyful. She's so, I mean, you can see that she's filled with the joy of the Lord, and it's just amazing. And some days when, yes, I'm looking, and yes, I'm, happy in the spirit, but in the flesh, I'm like, oh, how much longer do we have to do this? I'm not feeling well, and then I go and I look in her videos, and she's got a beaming, smiling face, and she's sharing the word, and she's singing and dancing. It's just amazing, and very encouraging, and that's her part in encouraging the believers. So we all have a part, and it's amazing. It's great that we have the technology that we can do that, and we can fellowship with each other in that way. So that's fantastic, and that's us watching out and not letting our hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness. And we're focused on God. We're focused. Okay. And then he says something very interesting. He says, and pray that you might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man. Now, people who are anti-rapture, who say, well, you're just looking to escape, as though that's a bad thing and a bad word. Do you see these letters here? These words are in red. These are Jesus's words. And Jesus is saying that we should pray that we would escape. Okay, so if Jesus says, I can escape, then yes, I want to escape. If you don't want to escape and you want to stay and go through all of that, well, you have at it. Good luck to you. But I want to escape. But the thing is, there's also other reasons why those of us who are so eagerly anticipating and looking for the rapture are so excited about it and eagerly anticipating it, and escaping actually isn't the main thing. And I can tell you, for me personally, there's other reasons that I want to go. The first reason that I want to go is because I want to be with Jesus. I want to walk up to Jesus, and I want to get a big old hug from him, because I have suffered. And when you've had suffering in your life, and you find somebody who can, they understand you and they get you, and you start pouring everything out to them and crying in their arms. And I've poured everything out to Jesus, but I've not been able to have that physical contact, and I would love to have a big old hug from Jesus after all that I've gone through, and to just be in his presence and to just be with him. And I'm looking forward to sitting at his feet and just listening to him and gazing at him all day and night. I mean, that's going to be awesome. That's what I want to do. I want to sit at Jesus' feet and just adore him. Okay, so that's my main reason for wanting to go. The second reason is because I've had a very painful life, emotionally and physically, and so I'm looking forward to not having that. I'm looking forward to being in that place where there are no tears, there is no sorrow, there is no pain. I will have a glorified body, so there will, this 24-hour living, walking pain that I am, won't be anymore. I will just be free of pain, and I'll be in a body that won't tire, and that won't hurt, and that won't ache, and that won't die. And in that body, I'm sat there looking at Jesus and just adoring him. And the third reason that I really, really, really want this rapture thing to happen really quickly, and this, pardon me, and the 7 years of tribulation, and then it's because I want to see the day of the Lord. Now, I don't know about any of you, but the thing that bothers me a lot is watching a wicked and sinful generation that they just thumb their noses at God. It's just horrible when you see people doing things and saying things about our God, and being so irreverent, and it's just so, it grieves me. I can't even tell you how much it grieves me. I'm like, this is God. How could they do that? How can they say that? How can they thumb their noses at him? And it's just, I think it's the Holy Spirit within me feels that anger building up, that, oh, there will come a day, And I remember having, well, I didn't say anything because I didn't feel led to say anything, but I had this experience where I was on a bus, and I was sat near the front of the bus, near the driver, and as she was letting people on, and then somebody she knew came on, and they were talking, about somebody, and this person apparently believes in God. And they were talking in a very derogatory way about the person, and saying, I don't know how people can be so stupid, and it's just, they believe in all these fairy tales and blah 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 blah. And I just felt, I'm listening to a conversation, I can feel the holy anger just building inside of me. And then in my head, I didn't say it out loud, in my head I said, oh, you will bow. Whether you choose to now, or it's involuntary later on, you will bow. And that's one of the reasons I'm really looking forward to this, because it grieves me, it grieves my spirit to hear anybody say anything bad about Jesus or about people who love him and follow him. So, escapism pretty high on that list. It's probably fourth on that list, to be honest. And I think that quite a few of us, that's what we want. We want to be with our Jesus. We want to adore him. We want to go to that place that Jesus went, and he said he was going to prepare a place, and he was going to come and get us. And I don't know about you, but I know if Jesus is preparing a place, it's going to be amazing. And so I'm really looking forward to all of that, but I am looking forward to the day when they bow. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Just to remind us this is what we're looking for, this is why we're looking for it, and the time is close. I don't know when. I wish I did. I would love to go today, and it could be today. It could be. But while we wait, let us encourage one another and help one another through it, and through whatever difficulties we're having. Pray for each other, talk to each other, encourage each other daily, and because we need this, we do need this, and we need each other. And Jesus is with us, and he is loving that we are loving on him and talking about him in the way that we do. Okay, and to give those of you who've not yet given your life to Jesus, who haven't turned yourselves over to him and let him loose on your life, If you feel like God is calling at you and He's tugging at you, you can pray a simple prayer. All you need to do is acknowledge that you are a sinner, we all are. Believe that Jesus Christ died for you and rose from the dead, and that He is alive today, and to confess that belief and that acknowledgement of your sin and that belief in Christ with your mouth. And God is faithful that anybody who genuinely, from their heart, does that will be saved. The Holy Spirit will come and live with you and in you, and He will guide you through things. He will guide you through life until the day of handover comes, when He hands us to Jesus at the rapture. Okay, so this is an example of that kind of prayer. You don't have to do this one. You can do your own words. But really turn yourself over to Him, give yourself to Him, and let Him rule your life, your every step, your every breath, your every thought. Okay? If you don't particularly, you feel like that you want to do that and you want to pray the prayer and you do believe that, but you don't particularly know exactly what it all means, I would advise you to go and look at my video called The Choice, where I explain what this whole salvation plan is, how and why the plan came about, and what it means for you. Okay, so I'll put a link to that in the description, and until next time, God bless you all.